All right, so here's one of our free templates in the Storyline downloads. And what it is a simple tabbed interaction that when you click each tab, it's actually showing a layer, right? You've probably seen it. Well, a couple folks have asked about how they can get these tabs to show a selected state across multiple slides. So maybe these are just linking to scenes, and then from there, each of these tabs will actually remain selected. Few folks have been sending me their attempts with variables, and variables is an option, and variables totally can work, and we can show you how to do that. But I think we can do this a lot easier, or at least just as easy or easier, using slide masters, and then just working with some graphics here on the slide master. Now this is all taking place on a slide, so we didn't bother to put it on a slide master, but let's take a look at how we could do that just using the same types of triggers and then just working with some slide layouts. Now this shows unassigned, and that's because we actually, with the interaction, it links to a quiz template, and we're not using that here. So I'll just delete that. Actually, just delete the whole tab. And I'm going to jump over here to Story View, and this is my starting scene. I'm actually going to make 2 or 3 new scenes, and I'll just call this one 1. And Control D and Control D again, and I'll just call this one 2. I just want to make some scenes. We'll link out to scenes, because then we can add a separate sub-slides that would use the player next buttons, and that will help demonstrate what this is doing. I'll just move that up there, and I guess I don't need this. So a couple things here. I'm going to jump in to this first one. And each of these triggers right now shows one of these layers. Well, I don't want to show a layer. I actually want to jump to a scene. And all I'm going to do is I'm just setting up basic navigation and one. Going to rename that to tab 1, make that easier for me. And for this one is tab 3, so we'll jump to scene 3. So jump to scene 3, and then tab 2, instead of showing a layer, we'll jump to a scene. So just really setting up the most basic of navigation right here. And if I jump over to Story View, I should see my relationship here. Okay, well at this point I'm going to jump into Slide Master. I don't want to have to copy all 3 of those buttons across each of those slides and then have to manage them. I could do it, it's just a lot to work with. So I'm going to shift click each of these, Control X, and that just cuts them to the clipboard. Up here from View, Slide Master, bring this open, and I'm going to jump down here. This is the one I'm currently on, so I will click Control V to paste those in place, and the triggers are still in place. All right. Now, this is the open folder version, so maybe I want a closed folder, in which case I will just take this blank one, and I'm also going to paste those, but then I need to go get that open folder graphic, right? But I'm going to cheat really quickly here. I'm just going to leave this open. So I'll delete these, and basically I have an open start, and then I have this first one. But I'm actually going to want one of these for each of those tabs. So I'll duplicate this 2 times, and I'll just call this one, tab 1, rename layout, tab 2, and then rename layout, tab 3. And then I'll make a couple adjustments here that actually set up and change how these work. The hyperlinks are already in place. I don't need any state changes here, but on tab 1, I open up my timeline. I want this first one's default state to be selected. And that means it's going to look like that. And on this next one, I want the second one to be selected. And on the third one, I want the third to be selected. And that's it. Now all I need to do is go in there and apply these slides to each of these layouts to each of the slides. So in here, you're not going to see the relationship anymore. And that's because the triggers are now in the slide master. So I don't see the direct links here. But if I come in here, I can lay out and say this is tab 1, this is tab 2, and then this is tab 3. And then if I duplicate a bunch of these, it'll remain and hold on to that navigation. So let's take a look at it. Preview. And if I click this, I should jump over to that scene, and there it is selected. Now, if I click the next button, it's still selected because it has that theme on it. And I could go into the Slide Master and disable that. But essentially, that's it. I'll make this available, and then I'll also create one on how to use variables as well.